Hi, this is my demonstration of the Greater Gator lesson plan. It's meant for kindergartners, and the subject matter is comparing numbers of objects with greater than, less than, and equal to signs. So the Indiana mathematical standard that I picked was the kindergartner number sense standard number 7, which is identifying the number of objects and comparing them greater than, less than, or equal to the number of objects in another group. And then the music standard I used was the performance standard for kindergartners, standard 6.1, which is perform appropriately for the audience. And you should see how that comes into play in my lesson plan here in a second. For this lesson plan, there are quite a bit of materials, but the only ones I wrote in my lesson plans were ones that I would need to make before the lesson or that would not already be available in my classroom. So this includes the alligator mouth cardboard cutout greater than and less than signs, and an equal to sign also out of cardboard. And I'm thinking about this as magnetic, so it'd stick to the whiteboard, or they could be, in free space with students holding them. Another would be, or my other material would be the poster board of the lyrics. I could write it on the board, but as a teacher, I think it's really helpful to just have posters of a lot of songs that I would use regularly, and that way, throughout my years of teaching, I could just pull it out and use it in the classroom, or magnet stick it to the whiteboard. So for the lesson, I would start out explaining the concepts. So we're talking about numbers. The students should already have an understanding of whole numbers. So at least 1 through 10, preferably, like 1 through 50, 1 through 100. The standards for kindergarten are being a little more rigorous. So 1 through 100 for this lesson would be really great. And then understanding counting in sequence and what the numbers mean. So knowing that 20 is greater than 1, because we're just adding on to that concept with the symbols during this lesson. So I start out explaining the symbols that are the greater than, the less than, and the equal to signs, and how we write it out, and I do all that on the board, and then I'd walk through, okay, I've got 5 bears, and I've got 7 bears. Which group has more? And show them the sign. And I do a couple of those to get them kind of familiar with the signs and what we're calling them, and how this concept is going to go, just to give them the starting off point. And then I would use the song to kind of build on that and give them a tool to remember how to put the signs in their writing. So I'll go ahead and do the song for you. It's called Greater Gator, and it's based off of the tune of I'm a Little Teapot. I actually have done this song before, and I really love it. So here goes. I'm going to have to hum it in my head first, just to be able to do it. I'm a greater gator, hungry as can be. Do you think you can help me? I want the number bigger than the rest. I will eat it up because it tastes the best. So I'm doing the clapping with it because in a group full of kids, it's going to be really great for them, and for them to use all the large motor skills to kind of get moving and help them remember the lesson. And gators, jump really loudly. So it kind of goes, same kind of concept as like Baby Shark. So as you can tell in the song goes, I am Greater Gator, hungry as can be. Do you think you can help me? I want the number bigger than the rest. I will eat it up because it tastes the best. So this is telling the students that we're going to place the gator so it can eat the bigger number, which is actually how I learned it. And I've actually run across adults that can't ever remember quickly which way the symbols go. So to teach it early on, I mean, this just helps students like get it and know that to think about the signs as an alligator or crocodile or whatever, that the mouth is open and it wants to eat the larger sign. Kids love it. It's great. So because it's done to the tune of I'm a Little Teapot, a lot of younger students will already know the song and already know it really well. So I'd have a student stand up and demonstrate I'm a Little Teapot so we can kind of get the tune in our heads. Whereas this is where the kind of performance part is coming in. So we're going to sing I'm a Little Teapot, and then I'll demonstrate Greater Gator with the clapping full out so they know exactly how it goes. We'll read over the words like I just did for you, and then practice the song a couple of times before we add the claps so that the kids know, are getting more familiar with it. Once the students get familiar with the song, we already have an understanding of which group has more. We're just adding symbols to, 5 and 7 are on the board. We're just putting a symbol here. So at this point, the lesson turns into more of a student-led lesson, and the students are going to be practicing going up, comparing the numbers, even as far as, shouting out which numbers they want on the board, It keeps them engaged, and it helps them learn the lesson. I think the final part of this is students with disabilities. There's so many different ways without picking a specific disability to adapt this lesson for all these different kinds of adaptations that may be needed. The ones I kind of thought about in my head is it's really common to have autistic children or autistic nonverbal children in a general education classroom because they can comprehend, they're intelligent, they can keep up with the lesson, but they don't communicate. And so in this situation, they can't really participate in the lesson, but that's where the claps come in. They can help their peers clap with the song so they don't have to sing it. And it should help them remember it also. Another thing I wrote was students that can't see the board or having more trouble working in a large group, whether because of behavioral issues or a disability or whatever it is. This could be easily done with little magnets like popsicle stick, like green popsicle sticks for the alligators' mouths, with magnets or just popsicle sticks in general, and this like student individual whiteboards. And they can do it with the group, but be doing it on their own so they have a chance to comprehend and process in their own way without having to be in the large group. I think that's all I have. So thanks for listening to my lesson. I hope that helped.